All right, well, I'm at Torreya State Park this afternoon. Just drove over from Tallahassee. It's about a 45-minute drive west of Tallahassee. This is right the area that Hurricane Michael crashed into about 2 months ago here in North Florida. This park opened up just a few days ago, maybe even a week or so ago. Had been closed like most of the state parks here in the panhandle, or at least in the area affected by the storm. So I'm just over here today to take a look at things. This park is well known to hikers. Some of the best trails in North Florida are located within the park. It's often said that when you're hiking in Torreya State Park, you'd think you were in North Georgia. There's about the only place in Florida to find this kind of elevation change within a few miles of trails. So it's a place that I've been to lots of times. Last time I was here was over Father's Day weekend, obviously before the hurricane came crashing in. But just here at the front gates, I can already tell that the impact on the woods has been pretty severe. As you can see, it's pretty wide open behind me. That was not the case prior to the storm. It was a pretty heavily wooded area, so kind of anxious to see what I'm going to find once I roll through the gates here. All right, we'll take a look. I'll let you see what's happening. As you can see behind me, the trail system is closed, but just on the drive in, if you've been to Torreya before, you'll recognize where I am. This is the Gregory House right behind me, with the river just below. But you probably also noticed that there are not a lot of trees left standing. It's just a completely different place than anything I remember, and I've been here quite a few times, and I was here not long ago hiking part of the trails out here. It's just a sad situation. I'm going to try to take a little bit of video on the way back out. As I said, can't get on the trails, it doesn't look like. So let's see how much I can get. See if I can find a ranger to talk to also, and get some kind of indication when the trails might be open, but it doesn't look like it will be anytime soon. So we'll see what else I can pick up here as far as video and pics, and I'll share what I can with you. Okay. Of course, Torreya State Park is named for the Torreya tree, one of the rarest coniferous trees in the world. There are only a few places you can find these trees in the world. I think China, Japan, California perhaps, and here, right here in the panhandle of Florida. Right behind me here, behind this historical marker, are a few of the trees left, the Torreya trees left here in the park. And then this park is really, as I said, one of the only places you can find these trees. I think there were like 600 located here in the park before Hurricane Michael pounded into the park as a Category 4 hurricane. There are probably less than 300 left. Behind me here, before the hurricane, this would have been completely, full of just very large trees. I mean, the fact that you can see beyond these trees right behind me is really just crazy. I mean, you can almost see the river from here. The Gregory House here is on the Apalachicola River, and as I said, this is just, I mean, as I look around here in the parking lot in front of the Gregory House, it's just unrecognizable. It's just crazy. So I'm going to take a look around, see what else we can see. All right, we're back in the car now. It's getting kind of chilly out there. I'm gonna just shoot a little video here as we're cruising through the park. I'll get out again here in a few minutes, but you can just see just the amount of destruction that's taken place here. Hurricane Michael, well, I guess it's been about 2 months since Hurricane Michael made landfall here in the Panhandle. I mean, if you haven't been here, it's hard to describe how different this looks. I mean, the fact that you can even see around this curve as we're driving, this was just heavily wooded. I can see a few deer crossing the road in front of me there. Hopefully you saw that. So yeah, this was, I mean, all of this in front of me, this was just completely just thick woods. One of the rangers here commented in a story in the Tallahassee Democrat a few days ago that never before did you have to wear sunblock when hiking out at Torreya, and that is certainly not going to be the case for quite some time. Trailhead leads you to all of the trails here in the park. This is the picnic area. I think I'm going to get out here and see if I can even pick up any of the trails here. I don't see anything blocking it. We'll just have to take a look. Seeing those few deer across the road a few minutes ago made me think about what the state of the wildlife might be here in the park. One of the things that Torreya is known for is the abundance of snakes found here, including copperheads. Last time I was here, I guess it was on Father's Day, I came across a few copperheads on the trail, and just wondering what the situation might be like for those snakes and other wildlife now. I am just completely unable to find the trail. That's how bad things are wrecked back here. I've just been walking for a few minutes away from the car, and ordinarily I would follow this road down. You can see the parking lot and car perhaps behind me, but I'm not quite sure what they've got going on here now. The trail went off in this direction. I believe this back here was a group campsite for scouts and such, which is completely leveled right now. I see a few picnic tables over there. That's the only thing that makes me think that's where I'm standing right now, but it looks like getting across to where the trails once ran might not happen today. All right, let's move someplace else. We're not having much luck getting out and seeing things from the trail. Though I'm not sure there's much to see. All right, I'll be back in a few. So behind me here is the campground area here at Torreya. You can see it's just completely wiped out. Right here was there was a yurt standing right here. They had one yurt here for rental, and then quite a few campsites back throughout this circle. Again, everything just looks to be completely wiped out. The yurt's gone. I read that they're bringing in a couple of new yurts to replace it. So the plan and the work is plans are underway and the work has started. It looks like behind me there to kind of get things back into shape, but there's really no telling when this campground will be up and running. The ranger in residence, I believe it is who was being interviewed, by the newspaper in the article earlier this week made the comment that we would be dead in our graves before Torreya looks like Torreya again. I didn't quite believe that until coming out here. Again, 2 months ago, right here on the banks of the Apalachicola River, if we walked out in this direction, we'd hit the river. Not sure what this looked like the day of the hurricane, whether storm surge had pushed up into this area. I can only imagine it did. The banks of the river are kind of high over here in the, along this area, but it was a Category 4 hurricane when it made landfall here in the park. Again, just blown away by what I'm seeing in terms of the loss of tree cover. I don't think we're going to have any luck in getting back into the woods, as I mentioned before. It looks like this is pretty much going to be it. But I'll keep coming out here and keep checking on things in the coming weeks to see when things get back up and running. There are a couple of switch hands here. There are a few backcountry campsites here. Obviously, those would not be open right now because the trails are closed. But certainly, there weren't any facilities. There were not any facilities at those campsites. So those will probably, as soon as the trails are opened up, I can imagine those being opened up as well. But we'll just keep an eye on it and let you know what's going on. All right, from Torreya State Park, I'm out.